The narrowness of the tunnel forced me to crawl, pushing myself along with the toes of my shoes and the tips of my fingers. Not surprising that no one else knew about this route. Something snagged my pants leg, jerking me to a halt. I tugged, throat closing when whatever had caught the fabric failed to give way. The tunnel constricted my body in such a way that I couldn't even look down to see what had caught me. I jammed my leg against the wall of the tunnel and felt something hard and sharp stab at my thigh. Some iron reinforcement, perhaps, eroding its way out of the mortar. I tugged again. Nothing. No one knew where I was. Even if Caesar guessed I'd snuck into the school, they'd be checking the popular route. I wasn't sure if anyone even knew about this way, except for Basil, and he was gone. I could be stuck down here for days. Weeks. I'm not going to die down here. I screamed out for help, my voice echoing in the tunnels. I didn't care anymore about getting caught. The idea of slowly starving to death in a brick pipe, yards below the ground, was worse than whatever they'd do to me for sneaking into the school. I knew there were other kids down here somewhere. Maybe they'd hear and help me. The air was still, but for the mocking roar of the air cleaner up ahead. I was so close that the sound of my voice wouldn't carry very far over the sound of the machinery. A jolt of panic shot down my spine, and I tried to calm myself. It felt as though I was smothering to death, forcing me to gasp for each breath. I strained my eyes until they watered, trying to stare through the darkness. Little spots began to dance in front of my eyes. My vision blurred as a roaring fog descended around my ears, accompanied by dizziness so strong I would have fallen if I could have moved. I knew what was happening.
When we feel the resource taking over,
the teacher always droned in a bored voice.
What do we do? Start counting and picture an iron wall.
Half the class chorused back. The other half never bothered to pay attention. I kept gasping for breath, trying to hold numbers in my mind. No, my thoughts screamed at me. Not now. But was it better to rot down here? The alternative was unthinkable. Illegal use of the resource was the only offense a child could be adjusted for. The fog thickened, dizziness swelling and making it hard to concentrate. Panic urged it on. Iron, I thought desperately. Images flashed through my mind, none of them what I needed. I needed cold iron, potent enough that the thought of it was enough to stop the resource in its tracks. Iron, like the sharp thing digging into my leg. I jammed my leg against it, trying to snuff out whatever was burning inside me. The dizziness eased, letting me blink away the blurry sparks of light obscuring my vision. I forced myself to drag in a deep breath. Think of Basil. The pipe wasn't so tight I couldn't breathe. I was only imagining it. I was just stuck. I got myself in here, and I could get myself out. Don't panic. I gave an experimental jerk of my leg, my pants resisting the movement. I stretched forward with my hands, seeking some kind of hole or crack in the brick of mortar that I could hold onto for leverage. There, a bit of crumbling brickwork. I raked it away with my fingertips, nails scraping against the mortar until I had enough room to get some purchase on it. I took another long breath in, and then exhaled all the way, making myself as small as possible, and jerked. My leg came free, with a dreadful long rip of fabric. I scrambled forward, nails scrabbling on brick, feet scraping. Ahead of me yawned the cleaner chamber, and with a last burst of effort, I spilled out onto its floor, the edge of the pipe taking several layers of skin off my arms as I did. Air. I needed any air but the horrible resource-soaked air in the pipe. Though the mechanics did their best, there were always leaks in the giant bellows moving the air. I crawled forward until I found one, and then turned over and lay there, lungs heaving and eyes shut. Gasps of fresh air brushed my face, tossing my hair around. Safe. After a few long moments, the trembling in my arms and legs stilled, and the burning in my lungs eased. I was lying in an inch or two of water, soaked to the bone. I opened my eyes. The chamber housing the air cleaner was roughly spherical, with the cycling machinery taking up most of the floor space. Gears bigger than I was spun in ponderous, perpetual motion, their bottoms disappearing into grooves gouged in the stone floor. The giant bellows in the middle of it all kept the air moving, pumping recycled air into the school.